Hello everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Infiniti and today I am back with channel chat 149. If you don't know, I'm the face, the voice, and the hands behind all the content here under this channel. So an actual human makes these videos, in case you're wondering. Like I said, channel chat 149. It's been a while since I've made a formal channel chat. I've tried to post little things here and there. Most specifically a video a couple weeks ago, but today I want to kind of sandwich some stuff, so I don't even know what kind of title I'm going to make for this at the moment, and I kind of want to edit it a little differently so things are in sections, like typically they are, but I want to actually outline those sections, so you're going to see some probably new stuff in here throughout the episode. It's going to be a little longer episode because I have a lot to catch up on. I have not posted a channel chat since January. Life has been hectic in so many different ways, and it's just a lot going on right now. So I appreciate you being here as always. It astounds me, okay? I had a blank moment there, but it always astounds me with how many people are willing to come and view my content and learn from me, and I want to thank you for being here. I will certainly be coaching on certain topics regarding this channel and the teaching of the crafts and things like that. So anyway, I hope you'll grab your favorite project. I certainly have grabbed my current project that I'm working on for my pattern club. If you've never heard of my pattern club, I will also be getting into that later in the episode, so be sure to stay tuned. Hear me out. And without further ado, we're going to just dive right into that. And unusually, I have notes for today that I wrote down about a month ago when I first initially was going to do channel chat 149, and there was quite a few points on that list, and even more stuff has happened since then. So anyway, we're going to dive into that. Like I said, I am very grateful for the people that are viewing this content, specifically the people that take time out of their day to view these channel chats, because these are kind of the more important videos for the channel and for Infiniti Crafting Co. And the fact that you guys actually do take the chance to come hear the human behind the videos and listen to what I have to say, I really appreciate that, because exceedingly so in this world, it's a lot more difficult to reach people, whether that be algorithmically or just on a person-to-person level. There's a lot of disconnect going on, and I can just appreciate the few people that do like to watch these videos, whenever it graces your feed, your timeline. So yeah. Now, look, it's been a long journey since January, so what happened? I was in February powering through, of course, it's the shortest month of the year, so I was powering through trying to get videos uploaded here to the channel and also juggle what pattern I was going to release for February. And I came to some revelations during the shortest month of the year that, maybe it's probably great not to try to overdo it in such a short time frame, because usually with this program I put out 2 to 3 things per month for people to make and follow along with, and in February I don't know why I thought I was going to get 3 projects out. It had been the plan, but the plan did not pan out. And so anyway, I think I put out the Merrimack Crossing scarf in February. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I put out. My computer over here is very laggy, so it may or may not load what I'm looking for at the moment, but nonetheless, I got the pattern out for February, and then we headed into March. So at the end of February, I got my 2 upper wisdom teeth out. So for those of you who have been around since the beginning, my dental stuff has been crazy for the last, gonna say since 2020? Maybe 2019, something like that, because these top 2 wisdom teeth were starting to just break apart for no reason, and I think over one of those hiatus I put out a video. It was like, hey, if I sound a little lispy, it's because these teeth are stabbing my tongue. And so anyway, finally, in the year of our Lord 2024, I was able to get those 2 plucked out, and that was great. It didn't hurt or anything, and I was totally expecting, you know, swelling and stuff to come back on me and plague me after the fact, because I've heard so many other people's horror stories. Not the case at all. It was quite pleasant, so to speak, once they yoinked. This one was more difficult to yoink out than this one, but anyway, once they got that solved, the healing process went smoothly, thank God, and I was able to, you know, talk and eat and do the mostly normal things, this front tooth aside. So there was that, and the lady, I will, I don't know, my words are not coming to me at the moment. The lady that saw to my wisdom teeth that day, she's very pleasant, she's nice, she is about to graduate dental school, but she was not hearing me out when I was like, hey, this front tooth is broken, please do not put pressure on it, it is mobile. What did she do? Exactly that, and pushed this tooth back, and I was like, oh my God, is this gonna break? Because I don't have the money to get it fixed. And thankfully, I could just push it back with my tongue. But that's how dire this tooth is. I was wondering why I was not bright enough. My lamp isn't even on. Yeah, that makes a lot of difference. Anyway, and so thankfully that crisis was averted earlier on in February, because it's been a struggle. And again, I'm going to get into that a little bit deeper into this video. So anyway, once I got that all done, you know, I was trying to sort out things mentally as well about how I wanted to proceed with making content and how I wanted to do shop updates in the future, because, well, if you are new here, I am graduating in like 4 weeks. 5 weeks tops. And I, you know, usually would put out videos about my pottery making, because I am a traditionally trained artist and I do pottery and painting primarily. But anyway, the last, probably since 2021, I have been making and selling my pottery online, and it's been a really fun journey. But this go around, I've really been focused in on just making things, because I won't have certain resources after I graduate, and even more so as I get deeper into this topic. So anyway, I've just really been trying to enjoy the process. All kinds of life stuff coming at me every which way, and I'm just like, okay, can I have some peace for once? And I know it's usually kind of hectic around when you're graduating anyway, but it's just like all kinds of other external things going on outside of school that are contributing to me not having as much time to be productive and as I would like to. Though I have not gotten into my last inventory that I created last fall entirely. I've put out a couple of pieces here and there. I think quite literally a couple of pieces. So you know, maybe this summer I'll be able to dig more into that, as well as the things that I am going to be bringing back in from the class studio. And I just thought about it. I didn't even introduce this section, but again, this is going to be something new, especially as I prospectively lean more into the podcast type format here on this channel for things that I upload. But anyway, so I guess we can all call this, let me see, I did my wisdom teeth thing. Okay, so we can call this part the art of the journey or whatever. Anyway, so with the pottery, like I said, just really focusing in on the process and kind of, not gonna lie, doing stuff that's mind-numbing at the moment. As I have been so stressed out primarily over this business of mine, and again over my grandmother, which she's doing fine, she's okay, it's just stuff, alright? So that's, the pottery thing has been kind of the best of times and kind of the worst of times. I can make things here at home because probably 3 years ago I bought a wheel, and it's a little cheap wheel that gets me by, and I make things on it, primarily cups. I made a few vases on there, but it's not really the kind of wheel that can handle a whole lot of weight and pressure that it takes to properly center larger pieces, and so I'm mainly sticking to cups at home right now. And so my other more fancy pieces I'm making at school and trying to, you know, get that stuff together. And coming in the next few weeks I will be glazing like crazy to get interesting things. I have a couple of new glazes at school that I bought earlier on, so that'll be fun to experiment with those. Also in March I I got a like 3 a.m. email about a limited release clay, and it speckles the ingredient that makes it speckle. It's kind of slow mining on it right now, so it's very limited release stuff, and I bought 50 pounds of it, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not, especially since I make my mugs about 2 pounds each. Like, I throw with 2 pounds each, but the mugs it sells aren't actually 2 pounds. They're not that heavy. But nonetheless, I've made 11, I think, of those speckled mugs, and I have to figure out how I want to glaze those. And I've made 11 or 12 of these other mugs because I've had this other clay in my subterranean wonderland that is iron rich, so when it fires, if it fires off like I need it to, it will be black. So I have some blended pieces that'll be black and white, and I'm really excited to see how those turn out once they're fired to cone 6. So lots of fun, exciting stuff that's going on with the pottery thing. Again, just kind of working out what I might be able to offer you guys as I continue on past grad. Alright, camera battery went out, but you know, we're gonna do this blind, so oops. Anyway, I'm working on the things that I can offer and provide beyond graduation, so again, really been working on things in the merch shop as well. For last month, March, which was National Crochet Month, and I finally was able to acknowledge it on time this year, I released one of the designs that I did last year and just never talked about, and it was this rip it back design that I'm actually wearing right now. So, I don't know if I stand up, you can see my little froggy. He is very upset about the fact that he has had to rip back his project, but it be like that sometimes in crochet. But anyway, I have this on several different items, from shirts to mugs to hoodies. I actually have a travel mug coming. It's a little late showing up. They shipped it out a little later, but that was fine. But I wanted to go ahead and get this video out the way because I've been putting it off and just been so freaking busy. I haven't had the chance to sit down and do these channel chats. So I was like, it's now or never, basically. Because right now we're on Easter break. I go to a Catholic school, so they actually acknowledge Easter before and after Easter, so that's pretty cool. And it gives me a chance to kind of do extra things that I otherwise would not have had time to do. I was initially planning on going to studio today, but I didn't. I did not. I decided to take the day because I actually started making myself anxious earlier, and I don't know, I make myself feel bad sometimes when I stress out. So, anyway, so I've been home today. That's been great. Pottery pattern. Okay, I think in my previous outline I wanted to talk about my patterns and how they're formatted. I think I might save that for another video, just like a little excerpt video. My patterns are like normal patterns, but then again, what is a normal pattern, right? So I find myself, as I involve myself in different arts, I find myself doing a lot of research and trying to figure out, best practice for the industry or whatever. And a lot of times when I look at patterns in books, they're a lot different from how I would personally format my own patterns and how I do actually format my patterns now. And it's interesting, the disparity between how indie artists format their patterns and how publishing formats the patterns, right? Which is understandable. I know how book printing works, so I don't know if I'm like a jack of all trades. But anyway, I don't know. I don't really like how publishing does their patterns, but I get it on the practical sense because of ink and things like that. But typically in one of my patterns I'll have the starter sheet, and then I'll have a little acknowledgement note on what would be the left hand page, and on the right hand page I get into the material list, and then I go down. I'm looking at this like in my mind from the InDesign program, so forgive me. So then over here I have all the abbreviations, which my patterns I try to source 100% of them from the Craft Yarn Council, which is the official accrediting body for crochet, knitting, abbreviations, all things fiber artsy, you know? So, I've been, basically since I've been writing patterns for the last, since 2017, you do the math, I have referred to their abbreviation sheets so that my patterns are cohesive and understandable by everybody, or nearly everybody. Um, so that there's that page, and then when we come over here, yeah, we start the actual pattern. So my patterns have typically 3 to 4 images per page, just depending on the pattern. If it's a simpler pattern, maybe have less. If it's a more complicated pattern, I try to chock them full of pictures so that you can kind of see each step of the way with that. And so just depending on how, like I said, how complicated the pattern is, the pattern itself could go anywhere between 2 to maybe, I think that one might be 6 pages, but that's just because of the text and the photos together. So, yeah, that's how my things are formatted. And then that last like 2 to 3 pages of a pattern of mine just talks about the other stuff that I offer. And I think when I did the update for 2023 for my formatting, I think I actually included a welcome coupon in there on one of those pages, and then the last page is just my social media, which I have been pulling back from. Oh my goodness. So I guess since I just said that, I guess we'll go into social media as a whole, because a lot of y'all follow me in a lot of different places, though primarily y'all follow me here on YouTube, but in the off chance that you are in my other communities, you'll have noticed that I have pulled back drastically and dramatically as far as social media goes. And it's been on my mind at least since the end part of 2022, which is also a rough year. Anyway, it's not my communities in general that have me pulling away. It's literally the platforms. I am typically not one to be like, oh my god, my views, or oh my god, my reach, but it's been actually plaguing me for quite some time. When they did that, when Instagram specifically, and I'm gonna jump around, when Instagram specifically did their algorithm update at the end of 2022, it sunk my reach to the point where I went from reaching nearly all of my followers down to about 40 or 20 every time I posted. Sometimes it would even put me at a point where my post would sit for 4, 5, 6 hours and nobody had seen it. And sometimes I would tweak little things to, try to trigger it so it would push my content to more people. And it sometimes worked, because sometimes like 8 people would, interact with it, but for the most part it was like a complete flat line. And you have to, I'm sure if you've ever like posted and tried to get a message out anywhere, if you go from reaching, I think one of my higher posts from that year was like 12,000 people down to like 2,000 people, that's a heck of a hit. But then those are just the exceptions to my posts. Those were. And so they were not the rule. So I think instead, on average, typically my posts would reach about 800 people, which was pretty darn good, because I think at the time I only had right at 700 people following me over there. I know, right? Shocking. Very low follower count, but I'm okay with that. I just want to reach them. So that was my point of contention. And anyway, as time continued, that reach became less and less, and then like I was confined to like stories and trying to get people to see my stories, which people were viewing my stories, but the engagement just, and then as of this year and the end of 2023, most of my engagement came solely from the fact that I was also sharing my posts to my stories. And so then you're stuck in the realm of people are seeing them, but you know how stories work. You're swiping, you're doom scrolling, and you don't really want to leave your stories feed to go check out somebody's thing unless it's super flashy. And I didn't want to make every single post of mine super flashy. I was just hoping to gain the interest of the people that followed me, but the algorithm said that that was too much. So I decided last month, yeah, yeah, last month to back off. And the funny thing about backing off from Instagram was, it was that when I posted the "I'm quitting for a while" post, organically, with no hashtags, no sharing to the story, none of that, that post hit 33% of my audience, which at that point I was almost at 1,000 people. So I was like, okay, what is it? Did Instagram just want me to not post anymore? Because I've been grinding since I started my professional page in 2020. Um, was this just y'all's way of telling me to stop? Because it worked. And I looked at that for a hot minute. I was like, okay, literally any other time, I don't care if it was a reel, a carousel, a static post, if I posted it, max, I was getting 42 people for the most part. Every now and again, I'd get a post that was like 100 plus people seeing my things, which is still great. I'm not complaining about that necessarily, but it's like, okay, as regularly as I do contribute to the thing, it would be really nice if y'all actually showed people things in old chronological order. But perhaps that is just my nostalgia kicking in. When the internet was great back in 2009, you kind of saw the stuff that you followed the pages for. Nowadays, you get literally everything except that. I can't tell you how many times that I have scrolled down my feeds, whether it be Instagram or Facebook, or the occasional time I grab my other device to get on TikTok, and it's always some kind of ad for stuff that I've never interacted with. It's some weird pimple popper stuff, or it's just business ads, and it's very sparingly the things that I actually follow people for, or the people that I actually interact for. And sometimes I have to like remember people exist and go find them and be like, oh yeah, and start liking stuff because I haven't seen them in so long. And I know that's the case for a lot of people right now. It's like, what can you do? What can you do? So I decided to do a hard reset on my Instagram profile, and that's been great. It's almost like a little weight was taken off my shoulders because I've been actually focusing on posting on Facebook more regularly. And I've been posting things almost every single day over there, which I am starting to encounter similar issues. And I'm like, okay, I'm not posting every single day, and I'm not posting the same thing when I do post. So I'm a little concerned. And at one point I was like, okay, there's this stupid thing going around IG that states that, hashtags maybe aren't that helpful. But I find that a little ludicrous because, how else do people find things when they're searching them? If you don't have any hashtags, you don't have any search. And some people say, oh, it's the SEO. Maybe from a search standpoint from like Google, but I don't know so much for Instagram, right? So, or Facebook for that matter, because they're basically the same at this point. But I digress. So I did a little experiment and started posting things without hashtags over on Facebook, and they did zip nada for days. And so I went back, edited the post, put hashtags in, and suddenly it started being pushed out to my followers. So I don't think it's the hashtags. I don't know what it is, to be honest. But anyway, and it's weird too. Some people might be like, oh, you're shadow banned because of this, that, and the other. I don't post anything weird. So, imagine my dismay at trying to like fight for my life on these algorithmic streets. Now, I'm also having issues with YouTube. How do I want to put this? The community tab that they push us to use, mine is broken. And so I kind of suddenly stopped posting to it because when I actually was able to, when they put in the update, to go look at the analytics from the community posts, I thought that people were just seeing the community posts and not interacting with them, which is partially the case. People are not off the hook for that. But by and large, I can say that about 85 to 90% of my posts, if not 95% of my posts, had one impression on it. So what are impressions, right? So as a creator, impressions are kind of everything to you, right? Because that's how many eyeballs your content gets pushed out to, right? That's how many people see your videos, whether they click on it or not, or if it's just at a glance. That's how many times your stuff appears in the feed. Now, On this platform alone, on YouTube alone, I have almost 18,000 wonderful followers. I cannot tell you the level of irritation that I had over the fact that out of all these people, there's one person that sees the majority of these posts. Who those people are, I don't know, right? Because, you know, I have a separate account for my personal stuff, and I have an account for my YouTube uploading. And so sometimes I will see my community posts in my feed, because I have a bar where I see other people's community posts that I'm subscribed to. Cool. But an interesting conversation that I had with one of my crafties, one of my super crafties actually, is that they push the weirdest stuff in those community tab reel bars, right? Because they'll show you a bunch of everything that you have literally never seen in your life, or you've only interacted with it once 5 years ago, and then suddenly it's just consuming your feed. And so the people you're actually subscribed to, you're not really seeing their content. And that's just the general consensus across social media, and I'm not the only one that this is affecting, because I'm sure if you follow any number of creators, they're gonna at some point whinge about this. And it's frustrating, certainly, because it's like, okay, as a creator, whether you recognize it or not, you don't have a business on this platform or any other platform if you don't have a community, and it's kind of hard to build a community when they don't see your posts. That's straight, simple, and to the point, right? And if I, as a craft education, art education channel, am struggling like that, I can only imagine the people that cover other things other than art education. That's it. So, you know, I don't know what to do with it. And as I've stated, I'm graduating in like 5 weeks, and it's crazy. I will be making a channel chat about that whole thing and just my experience over the last 8 years in school. But typically I take a hiatus at the end of May to recuperate my soul from everything that I have dealt with through the semester and with work and everything else. And just gives me time to breathe for about a week, and then I go back into video production. And this year is going to be the same in a lot of ways, but also different in a lot of ways. Boy, I realize I brought this crochet project over here and I haven't even worked on it, but I think I'm enjoying talking and getting a lot of this off of my chest, because it's been a long time coming on some of this stuff, and then I just haven't done a channel chat, and usually a lot of this gets dispelled between channel chats, and I just haven't had the time, the energy, or the brain cells to even sit here and do one. But nonetheless, back on topic, Infiniti. Hiatus this year, right? So obviously I take a break off from the public channels. Last year I went on a roll of posting short form content over the summer because I wanted to grow, and you know, interestingly enough, that did not work out for YouTube, which, you know, is what it was. I had over 10K last summer, and I was very happy with that number, and as always, I'm very happy to see those numbers grow, because I like showing people what I know, exceedingly so. This channel has been the experience of a lifetime for me, because never in a million years did I think that my socially introverted, anxious butt would be teaching tens, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. Okay, so just being able to take that in a little bit, I've had an amazing educational career at this point, so I'm grateful for that. But anyway, the experiment that I was running was primarily for YouTube, but I was like, this seems like a bunch of good content, why would I waste it? So I started putting it on my dead Facebook page, because my Facebook page was flatlined. I'd even stopped uploading to it. I'd started my Facebook page when I started my channel. So this channel started October 1st, 2018. I started my Facebook page in like December or November, something like that. And between 2018 and 2023, I had 568 followers over there. That was my community, and for the most part, in retrospect, most of them were not seeing my posts, and I was running ads like an idiot, trying to spark interest in the page and bring it back to life. None of that worked. Just gonna put that out there now. If you're a smaller creator on any platform, even if you're not small in general, if you're small on a specific platform, I don't recommend doing ads because... But anyway, I will probably talk about that at some point. Maybe in the future. Who knows? But posting those little short clips about how to crochet and things like that really resonated with people and took off. And, you know, that was great because that put me right over 25,000 people. Now, this is where I kind of cry about the distribution of my content because I'm doing all the things that they say to do when I do my posts. And I'm thinking that I've lost like quite a few followers over there because people think it's a dead page. They forget I exist, and then like suddenly when they see a notification or something, then they're like, oh my god, stop, and they unfollow and whatever. So like that happens, that's cool, whatever. I still have a really huge audience over there. It's wild. And I try to interact with them, and now Facebook has this really odd and low-key kind of annoying feature when you are a creator page where you can tag your followers. And personally, I don't like it, but I use it because otherwise I only get about 100 people that see the post and maybe 2 or 3 people to engage the post, and that's really weird. From both a creator standpoint and from like anybody looking at my page, they're like, huh, did they buy followers? Who knows? Who knows? And that's kind of why I put emphasis on people commenting on my videos on this channel, because it looks weird, you know? I understand lurking, and I understand too, you know, not everything is comment worthy, which is fine. I don't really care about that, but like there are videos where specifically I am like, hey, leave me a comment down below, hey, let's talk about it. Hundreds of people see it, and 20, maybe 25 people so like the video. Nobody comments. It's just an empty field, and I'm like, okay, like especially when I'm asking for feedback. Please talk to me. But that aside, I forget where I was going with all of that. Darn. We're still in the social media swamp, so anyway. I guess I'll talk about the third platform that nobody really knows about, because I did that as an experiment as well last summer. Facebook, most successful part of the experiment. Instagram, the least, I mean, absolute garbage can tier. Successful in that experiment. But interestingly enough, I did put my content over on TikTok because my friend was like, oh, you know, to do that, but I'm not really into putting them on my main devices. So I bought a tablet last summer and decided to do that, and it was cool for a minute. I guess I had a little bit of momentum, and I ended up with like 630-ish. I capped off right there, followers over there, which wasn't bad for a summer. Haven't grown since. I put videos out, and you know, I've kind of repurposed most of my content, and at this point I'm just wondering if I suck at content creation because you know, it's like, okay, I'll get the momentum, people like start following me or whatever, they'll put like sparse comments in there, but then after a while people just view the content and they just leave, or they'll save it and then they'll leave. But the interaction over there is garbage tier. So like, I don't know, Instagram, I got no growth and barely any views. Like some of those videos I can go back to today and they only have 38 views from a year ago. Wild. And those were the educational, like helpful short videos. Flatline. The videos did substantially better over on TikTok, but and even now I'll get views on them, which is nice. People will save them, which is nice. But the engagement is very, very low. So I have to say, out of all the social media stuff that I do, and I manage it all on my own because I'm too poor to pay for help. So, you know, I have to say, out of all of the ones that I bounced around, Facebook and YouTube are kind of neck and neck. And then I was mirroring my content over to Rumble, and I've been doing this since 2020, so I've been there since the very beginning. And mostly because I wanted to, well, not have all my content in one spot and then have to start over from ground zero. There's almost 25,000 people over there as well. And that fluctuates because, you know, interest or whatever, but is like more traffic heads over there, I'm noticing a rise in views and interaction over there, which is really, really cool. So if you're watching this on Rumble, thank you for being a part of my community. All this to say that if I can limit the amount of interaction that I have to do, not with the people that are following me on these platforms, but with the platforms themselves, the happier person I am, right? I am, I would definitely say, well, would I? I have to say that at least with my business and me personally, I am definitely 50% mentally, 50% business person, 50% creator, because I know the things to do. I'm always researching the business side. The business side of things intrigues me a lot, as I'm sure you can tell by my just surface level talking about running it on social media. But I want to kind of pull away a little bit from the business side, right? Not just focus on the numbers, because I enjoy my crafts, which I hope comes across in the videos that I put out. And that is really where it all began. It's just my enjoyment of the fiber arts and my willingness to share and grow with a community of people. And again, it kind of tied into a lifelong dream of running a business. Not kind of, it definitely did. But I never knew what capacity I wanted to run a business, and doing it where I can constantly dispense my creative energies into something that's positive and helps other people is really right up my alley. So, again, I will always enjoy what I do, and I am in no way out of ideas as far as things that I want to do for Infiniti Crafting Co. and the things that, well, someday maybe I just will do for Infiniti Crafting Co. But I have to have the support there, and I have to actually be able to see it. So, if you're seeing the community polls at any chance, or any point, it would be really nice if y'all would kind of interact with it and tell YouTube to start sharing my posts. Even if you went over there after this video is over, or you opened up another tab and went on my channel and looked under the community tab, you will see that I was posting my butt off, and you will probably not be shocked to see that you have not seen those posts, but I was. And I think with anything, if you keep doing a bunch of stuff and it's not gaining any traction, or it's not being seen, or whatever the payoff there is, you're gonna stop doing it. And so that's kind of the theme of the year at the moment. And even though I've tried to put this message out long before crunch time, which is now, people don't really react to the things that are not dramatic. So we are going to get into those dramatics here in just a sec. But anyway, numbers and analytics aside, like I said, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff in my personal life. My grandmother, which you guys, if you've been here for a while, I talk about her quite often. She's a sweet, camera-shy old lady. Refuses to come on the channel. I've tried. But anyway, She's been on dialysis for a very, very long time, and hopefully she won't strangle me for saying this, but she's been dealing with some health complications and stuff, and so I've had to pull out of literally everything recently and just really focus and spend more time with her and helping her get around and about and whatnots and assisting her. So, I appreciate everybody's patience, because it's not just when I'm MIA. Usually when I go MIA on the channel and I don't post videos, it's usually for a good reason. And I would have to say that family is probably the number one reason that I would skip out on work, or, well, it's work or school. So I'm really happy to have had kind of the blessings of my professors right now to kind of step away as I need to deal with stuff in my home life, because that's been something that's just kind of rattled me more, and I'm not really used to being rattled, if you can imagine. So, she, like I said, she's doing fine, relatively fine. She's still kicking, she's still feisty, she has enough life in her to pester me, so I am grateful for that, and I appreciate you guys not screaming at me for not getting to community requests fast enough. So, yeah, there's that. And that's another reason why I can genuinely appreciate being able to have done this for so long, because not only family stuff, over the years, but also just scheduling stuff and whatnot. The fact that I am a caretaker of multiple people, I I can't, the capacity that I have had over the years to actually be able to go and work traditionally has been pretty limited. And so I am, even though I do have a part-time job now, I am very happy that I have been able up to this point to be able to lean on my YouTube channel and my handmade crafts and things like that. And so it's never, when I bring up certain topics, and I know I kind of dance around a little bit, when I bring up certain topics, it's never that I want people to think that I'm ungrateful for anything, because I'm not. You know, as with any business, you would see like the writing on the wall, and you're like, okay, this is what this business or this brand needs to survive. This is where we're currently operating, and I'm trying to bring up where I'm currently operating so I can at least like break even and afford my software to edit the videos that you guys like to see. So that is going to take us into another topic. The pressure is also on, well, I guess it doesn't really affect me, but it affects me. Okay, so my last, what do I want to say? Either it was the last channel chat or the channel chat before last, I told you guys how our fine arts department is being decimated. You know, it's a thing with retention and enrollment and things like that, which is fun. I used to work in that. But anyway, basically it's been abysmal, and I don't really, you know, blame people for not. But nonetheless, it affected it. And of course, one of the first things that always goes in the school system is your fine arts or your performing arts or whatever, liberal arts kind of thing. And so, you know, we were told we were being nixed along with a few other programs at the school. Well, of course not. The school is closing next year. And, you know, a lot of it's kind of a bummer because the school is over 100 years old and there's so much history in the community. And actually nationally, you know, artists are supported by the gallery that we have, fine arts gallery that we have and whatnots, and the events that we host. But nonetheless, yeah, it's just, you know, years of mismanagement and things like that that has led to just all these different decisions coming down kind of all at once. And so, you know, it was kind of like a double whammy. Even though I was set to graduate this semester, it's just like the fact that that will no longer be there. And then oftentimes when you do go to school, you have that school there as like a future networking, it's a resource thing, it's a connectivity thing, and that part of my educational life will no longer be there. Woo, if I were, that's been like a big conversation point amongst my cohort. We've been like, okay, like if we wanted to go to school, obviously some people are a little better off than I am, or a lot better off than I am, so they have options. But I personally, if I wanted to continue my education at any given point, that would have been the affordable option for me to pursue my specific degree path, and now that is no longer there. So that's interesting to think about, and in a lot of ways I was just like, huh, well, Lord, I guess grad school was not meant to be. In which I don't really feel like I need grad school at the moment. I feel like there is a downtrend on credentialism, which is quite nice. So, you know, with that, and the fact that, you know, when one door closes, another one opens, and, you know, the Lord opens a door, it's open, and it's going to stay open. If the Lord shuts it, hey, what can you do about it? So I am looking forward to seeing what random thing life throws at me and where my life leads, certainly within the next few years, but going beyond that, I have no idea. And I think that's part of what's been stressing me too, is just the actual unknown. Sometimes I actually get hit with revelations that I might be a little bit of a control freak. And yeah, you know, not ashamed to admit that. But at least I just try to control my life, right? But anyway, I think that things in that regard will pan out eventually. So I'm just going to try to take stuff a day at a time, not think too hard about it, enjoy what time I have left in my art haven, and continue to create so that I can be great later. This brings me to the last topic, which is kind of, I don't know how to explain that, but it's been the source of my stress spiral. It's been the source of my low low-key depressive spells that I've been going into. And I just gotta get it off my chest for now, and I need y'all to hear me out. So this part will definitely be getting cut up so that people can see it and not gloss over it, because I know this channel chat is super long. So now I want to talk about my big ask. The only thing that I have been asking for the last, we're gonna say 9 months now. And I have often prayed about what to say about this and how to put it so I don't rub people the wrong way. But, you know, at the same time, I'm always going to rub people the wrong way with my business, as I've come to discover over the years. It's very interesting, the relatively small but ever-present section of one's audience that, you know, how do I want to put that? You know, there's always going to be a certain amount of people on the planet, in anybody's community, that will very much enjoy and benefit from a person's content. Now, I say this, and I think I've said it in many community posts, I'm not gonna pretend like, you know, my content is like life-saving or whatever, but I know I'm a lot of people's favorite person, and I can appreciate that. But there will always be a section of one's audience that will, like I said, very much enjoy and benefit from the content that they put out in general. But the very moment they start mentioning, hey, I need you to help this content survive, the very moment a creator mentions that, it's like a tension, an invisible tension that forms between some people and the creator. Because I'm not the only one that has dealt with this. You know, people make all kinds of content, some of it educational, some of it entertainment. They've met certain types of resistance when it comes to actually trying to crowdfund and actually trying to sustain their business and whatnot. And, you know, a lot of, this is going to be a very deep section, right? Because a lot of creators, they will go the route of like brand deals and trying to do partnerships and things like that. And that's something that has crossed my mind over the years. However, I don't want to work with everybody and everything here on the channel, right? Because this channel, this brand, is me, right? I'm the person behind the brand. Infiniti Crafting Co. belongs to Infiniti W, the crochet knitwear designer, right? And so, from that standpoint, there are certain like business practices or whatever that I don't agree with and whatnot, and that's my prerogative to either deal more deeply with a company or choose to not interact on a certain level. And I mean, certainly with the different audiences I pull, I could very much go that route, but it's not necessarily my thing, because it's gonna sound rough, I have integrity, you know, and there are just certain things that just don't line up with me, you know, and everybody lives their own life in their own capacity, whatever, you know. I am a craft channel, so I'm not even here to divulge all that. Simply, I only want to promote products that I believe in and that at least marginally, you know, are in my wheelhouse, or, you know, marginally support the things that I support and things like that. And, you know, you see that more and more these days. I'm no different. I'm just a person with a brand, and I have found that I would rather be beholden to the people that enjoy my content, the people that consume and engage with my content, in order to build something bigger and better and continue to contribute to the maker space with the fiber arts. And, you know, I still now, even, and this could just be my limited perspective, but I still don't understand what's wrong with that necessarily. Like, there are a lot of people that will do that all the time, and, you know, I understand, like, in the beginning of things can be kind of rough when nobody knows who you are. And I've said this in a separate video that may or may not go up at some point in April, because I had to sit in my car the other day and kind of rant about stuff, right? But I feel like I'd rather be beholden to people that give a darn about the content as opposed to running in circles and compromising on my views and things like that just to get a bigger check from a big company. Like, that's not the thing. And it's like, it's always been my mission to incorporate as much value as I can into my products. So whether that be anything that I hand make, I make sure that, all the ends are woven in. I know, bare minimum. Bear with me. All the ends are woven in. Things are finished just so to a certain standard. Otherwise, I don't put them on my website. So same thing with the stuff that I promote here on the channel. You'll notice you don't see a single ad read really anywhere apart from my stuff. Why? Because I can believe in my stuff and I can trust me to not be weird or insult my fan base or my customer base, at any given point, right? Roughly. So that is why I'm very adamant about Hey Crafterpreneur, which I'm going to pop this logo up here. So help me. I've been putting this thing in my tutorial videos, in my channel chats, and everything since last July. So why so many people in the polls, I'm digressing, say that they have never heard of this program, I don't understand. Perhaps maybe the same people are not encountering the new content, but that seems kind of sketchy from my perspective. But nonetheless, this thing right here is the thing that's going to keep this channel running. And I've, tried to come at this in a way that wasn't so aggressive or so intense, but it's all that I've got. And every time, which I try not to do it too often because, it gets old and people don't really like it when you complain. Valid. I try to present this in a way that's positive, and I try to get people to understand all the benefits and perks to it and whatnots. And the fact that it's only $6 a month. That's the thing that's probably killing me right now, is the fact that I have done all this work and I have basically built this thing off of community feedback over the years and have centralized. I've been working on centralizing everything so that it's not hard to find my things and it's not hard to support me. But very, 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 very few people actually do. And I am, again, forever grateful to them because while the majority of them that I'm referring to are subscribed to the program, the ones that can't or, haven't seen a pattern that they liked yet, they have either, purchased pottery. I've had maybe a couple people over the years do merch stuff. I'm always adding to that because I'm trying to improve. But I don't get it. I don't understand the disconnect. And I know I said this in that other video. I would like to understand the disconnect, because if it's just something small and minor that I can tweak or make a video to address or whatever concerning me and my product line or brand or whatever, please tell me. Because, your girl is running on E here, and as I barrel closer to that self-ascribed, admittedly, deadline, I'm part of me wonders, what was the point, And it's funny, when you do content creation, you always end up watching these videos okay, what happens when you get creator burnout and things like that. And I've definitely encountered burnout several times throughout my journey, and that's natural, whatever. I typically step back when I do. But they always tell you to remember why you started a thing. But it's not that making these videos has burned me out. That's the crazy part. It's not that I'm tired of the crafts, because I will be stitching until the day I either die or cannot anymore. So, which I guess if I die I can't really do it anymore. But I digress. I'm not falling out of love with my crafts. I'm not falling out of love with the video production. I quite like the skill set that I've been able to build over the years while catering to you guys. Because it makes me fun. It makes me feel like I'm fun, or at least adept in enough things to be able to get by in multiple different settings or whatnot. But anyway, this is the fun part about doing these videos without a monitor battery. But basically, what I just rambled about was, it's not that I'm burned out with the actual creation of the content or having to learn new things to keep creating cool content or like figuring out trends and things like that. I'm not burned out on designing anything. I'm not burned out with releasing my designs for the program. I am inspired, and I feel like I am still trying to reach the peak of my design career / journey. Where I am actually burned out, I guess you can say, is where I'm trying to understand, right? Now, obviously there's multiple factors going into like people's unwillingness to join in. I still feel like the biggest thing that's probably holding me back right now is the fact that people are not seeing, perhaps, the videos. But then again, I try to link said videos at the end of things. I share things under the community tab. I bring up my club and my items every single video. Every single video. There are probably, I don't know, I have 800 something videos on this channel, but there's probably only 1% of my videos or so that don't mention a single product and they're just purely tutorial, right? Which I think people tend to expect people to kind of put in their blurbs for their social media or whatever website, whatnots. But I still got people saying they don't know I have a website. So I'm like, okay, what are we actually looking at? Because when my videos come on, that's the first thing you see. Infiniti Crafting Co, InfinitiCraftingCo.com. And then the title. And then, you know, I go into the stitch patterning. And only within the last 2 or 3 months or so, I started adding in my ad read for Hey Craftapreneur. That, I mean, that's relatively soon, but even then, at that point, thousands of people have seen that. So I'm trying to understand what tweaks I can make in order to earn, to gain your membership, your support, etc. Because it doesn't even have to just be the subscription thing. I got t-shirts, I got mugs, I got a whole host of things on my website that are craft related in some shape, form, or manner, whatever, shape, form, or manner. There we go. And, you know, I'm just trying to get by, to be honest. As most of us are, I guess. But, yeah. You know, and over the last couple of years, I've been trying to struggle to save to get this tooth fixed so I can start speaking normal English like I used to. And that's been an uphill battle. And at that point, I was like, I need to make something because I don't like to feel like I am asking too much. And I don't like to feel like I am begging, which at this point I think is another hit to my, don't know what to call that, but it's another hit to me personally because I feel like I am begging people to support content that they enjoy seeing, and I don't get it because, like, you know, Hulu and Netflix don't have to do this, you know, other little streaming services that are smaller than them don't have to do this, so what's up? And those people don't care. Like, those people don't care about the stuff that they put out, and they don't care about the people subscribing to them. But here I am, a person, and I know there's a lot of creators out there with a lot of similar programs and Patreons and things like that. So I am not at all thinking that I'm just one in a million and nobody likes me. That's not it. I'm asking the people that do like me, that can and are willing to actually support my content outside of watching the videos. Because again, I'm not complaining about the viewership. My viewership is amazing, by all means, and I appreciate it all the shares, all the likes, even the comments that I do get sparingly that are mostly on the Centro Knitting Machine videos. But nonetheless, I'm grateful for all of it because I could have none of it, and that would probably suck even more considering the 7 years I've dumped into this channel. Oh man, that would suck. But you know, I don't know if I'm just coming into a crisis point where I am like, okay, you know, I've dumped all this time and energy, most of my youth, into this project, and I've put a lot of resources that I honestly didn't have into this thing, and now I'm at this point where I've put in, offered, and now that I am like asking for the help to keep it going and to help support me as a creator and as a teacher, I get crickets. I get crickets. Like, I think, let me see, let's cut that out. to put this into perspective, when I set up this goal last year in July, I was like, okay, I can definitely make this, and this was before I crested 15K. So I was like, okay, I can definitely make this. This is going to be a cool thing, and people are going to be really excited about it. So I started the program mid-July last year, and I'm like, okay, I need roughly between 400 and 500 people to be willing to sign up for my program. And I, been alluding to things that would, up until I launched it, I'd been alluding to things and be like, hey, you want to support the content? Hey, you want to help keep the content going? Like, I've been doing this long before I got to this point, so this isn't just some last minute, oh my god, I need you guys to sign up. I've been yakking about it. I've been sharing about it. I've been doing my best to market it the best way I can. And at this point, like I said, between 400 and 500 people, and I have 2% of that. So I looked at my audiences as a whole, and like I said earlier in this video, got like 67,000 people that collectively follow and indulge in my content. Wild stuff. 500 people is less than 1% of that. Actually, it's like 0.7. It's not even 1/4%. So it's less than 1% of that. And I have 2% of less than 1%. So I got like this tiny little penny in a bucket of pennies, and I don't know what that means. Like, I know what it means, yes, obviously, but like, what am I doing wrong? Why aren't people seeing it? Why aren't they signing up? What am I actually doing wrong? Do my designs suck? Please say so. If you say so, at least I know. At least I can try to, there's nothing I can do about it right now, but at least I can work towards improving designs or offering designs that more people would like. I'm always open for that, which has been the MO of this whole channel for the last 7 years or so. But that's the thing. Nobody's saying anything, and that's the part that concerns me, because I can't improve anything off of zero feedback, And I guess I won't say zero feedback. I do get some feedback, especially on the videos where I'm kind of teasing my projects. Either I get people that want me to release them absolutely for free, no strings attached, and I used to do that. But I don't do that anymore, and I haven't done it for like 3.5 years. I either get that crowd, or I get people that passive-aggressively snip at me under certain projects because I didn't release them for free. And I know I mentioned this in this video that I did not release yet, but that does not compel me to release the thing just because you're upset because I did not release it for free. Like I said, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos on this channel, both on YouTube and Rumble, where I am selflessly uploading my craft knowledge. And then the one thing or two things that maybe you really, really want, but they're behind a paywall, I mean, you're really gonna sniff about that? You're gonna gripe over $6? Okay, that just makes me want to leave them behind the paywall, to be honest. But that aside, vindictiveness aside, I just honestly don't know at this point. And again, like I said earlier, working on that, but the idea of not knowing, and then the idea of wondering whether or not I've wasted my time over the last several years, I don't know what to do with that, and I would love to figure that out. And I think these are very normal feelings that one might gain. And again, I try not to really whine about it publicly, partially because of how I was raised, but also because, nobody likes a whiner, and I would rather work hard and earn people's support through the merit of what I'm doing with my hands, by the work of my hands, right? But it seems like at a point, I just have to say this stuff out loud because people aren't actually listening to the gentle, hey, support me, please. So I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here. So I actually didn't ask anything in that segment. And I don't really want to sound rough and grumpy about that either, so I'll wait till later. But that is a lot of what's going on, and even now that I'm talking about it here on camera, I feel like a whole weight is lifted off my chest, because my whole thing for the last almost, year has been, I'm going to keep putting the word out, and I'm going to keep operating as though the world is not ending tomorrow until I can no longer do so, and hopefully people will want to jump on board and support me for the person I am and the content that I put out. You know, it's not my deal to really grift off of anything or, try to rally. I'm just a person. I'm just a girl, I'm just some lady on the internet trying to make it by and working with my hands to do so. So if you want to join, I would appreciate it. I would love that. The link is always in the description box below, always. I updated my description boxes last summer, so it's always been there, and either it's pinned in the top comment or it's there. I know one thing that really kind of hurt creators too was when YouTube was like, oh, no more links in the shorts thing, because that's where a lot of people were getting their views for their products, and then they just kind of knocked that off of there, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, so I guess the long and short of this particular section of this channel chat is that if you do truly enjoy and value my content, and you enjoy my personality as a maker and all that fun stuff, I am asking for your membership behind Hey Crafterpreneur. Even if I don't hit 400 to 500, if I could hit half of it, that would be really great. That would at least give me more hope, because I am quickly losing it. But that would make my day, and even that, seeing that, would inspire me to continue making stuff until hiatus. Now, that's what I didn't really keep up with earlier when I was mentioning hiatus. This hiatus is going to be different. It's going to be longer. In the past, I've only taken off a month. I think that one year I might have taken a month and a half and come back middle of June. I did that last year too. But nonetheless, I've been doing this for a while. Forgive me if I don't quite remember properly. But I'm planning on taking off on the public channels for about 3.5 months or so. So if I come back, first of all, if I meet my goal, and I come back, I'll come back sometime in August or early September, and I'll start producing tutorials again, and perhaps actually doing channel chats more frequently, because I'll have the time if I can do that way. And we can talk about projects and things like that, and I will continue Hey Crafterpreneur. If I can meet part of that goal actually by the end of May, then kind of same deal, and I would hope that over my break I would gain more support for what I'm doing, and in that circumstance I would still come back to the public channels sometime in August or early September. If I don't reach that goal in any capacity, I am going to take off the public channels for quite a bit. And when I do come back, it will just be channel chat only. I doubt if I'll do a super long mega channel chat like I am right now. But today I just want to record a bunch of segments, because there's a lot that's been going on and I want to get it off my chest, so, And, yeah, so, sometime last year, whenever they made it possible, I changed the channel chat playlist into a podcast format, because I wanted more of my people to see it, of course. So, I don't know exactly what I'll be blogging, vlogging, podcasting about, but hopefully it'll be interesting enough for my audience to come back whenever I do come back, if that's the case. Like I said, I would sincerely hope that's not the case. I would really like to think that less than 1% of my audience enjoys my content enough to support it, but again, at this point, that almost looks realistic at this point. So, it'd be like that, and that's fine. But yeah, either way, on the public channels, I'll be taking off until sometime in the fall. And then as for Hey Crafterpreneur, I haven't quite made up my mind yet on that timeline, but I will be taking off at least in June for Hey Crafterpreneur, so that I can have time to sort stuff out and actually work ahead on some fall projects, so I can get those bigger scale projects going, because I've been working on, gonna digress here, I've been working on that sweater that I wore for New Year's because so many people did like it, and for a while it will be a program exclusive just because it takes time to format. But anyway, I don't know what I was on when I first made the sweater. I know it took me about a month and a half to do that particular sweater. So I don't know why I thought I was going to finish this in 1 month in order to have this out in March. But, you know, I was ambitious and that's what counts. Both of my patterns did go out for March. It just wasn't this one, and I mentioned this in a blog post. So if you're on the newsletter, be sure you check regularly your inbox for that, because it'll be like new posts from Infiniti Crafting Co. Sometimes it goes to junk mail, sometimes it doesn't. In my inbox, it typically goes to my inbox, though. It's just, I'm a busy lady. I got a lot of emails going on. So be sure you check those out on occasion, because I usually have a bunch of info in the blog posts that sometimes make it to a YouTube video and sometimes don't. But this is the front panel. If you've followed any of my patterns, or, you know, are aware of any of my design process for any amount of time, you'll know I like to make sweaters with panels and stuff, and then kind of work stuff in the round after I join everything. So this is the front panel. Very incomplete. And I am working currently on the other panel. They're basically the same. So this whole thing has been processed kind of like a cook show. And it's been fun putting this together. So hopefully sometime in April I'll have this out. And then I'm working on things for the Centro knitting machine, because that is something that's been requested more so in my subscription program. So I'm trying to figure it out. I've had several ideas for projects on the Centro, and I just had not gotten to them quite yet. So those are being worked on. I am recording this on April 1st, so we'll see where we get with that by the end of the month. But this hopefully is my crochet pattern for the month. Otherwise I'll be doing a couple of Centro things, and that'll be fine. Let's see. I feel like there was other good news. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to sandwich this. But anyway, let's see. I'm finally getting around to learning how to drive, and I'm excited for that. Some of you may be waiting to make SpongeBob jokes, but that's fine. I genuinely didn't have anyone interested in teaching me how to drive, because I've been wanting to drive since I was 14. So I was waiting on the day I hit 15, and then my mom was like, "Meh, don't want to teach you." So I sat with that for a while, and then, what was it, about 2019-ish? Once I was steadily working, and I thought I was at the peak of my working, I had 2 jobs. So I started paying for driving lessons, and they were going great. And in 2020, I was like this close to going to take my test, but then COVID hit, and then all the license offices were closed, so my permit expired, and so I couldn't drive anymore. And I'm pretty sure the driving place also was not taking clients, so that sucked. And then from that point, just didn't have a car, so, you know, was trying to save for it, but, you know, college is expensive, and so is life, so that was kicking my butt for a while. So, you know, no car, but then, you know, eventually got a car, so that's cool. And I have been well on my way of learning how to drive, and I'm doing fine with that. So I'm thinking sometime soon I should be getting my full license, and I'm very excited for that. It's a huge development for me, because I've been wanting to drive for over a decade. Which is a crazy statement to say. Over a decade. What does that even mean? I don't know, but I know at the same time. It's so weird, because I'll run across old music videos and stuff that I was like, oh yeah, I remember that, and then they're like 12 years ago. What do you mean? But, you know, that's life, right? So that's exciting news. Let's see. I feel like I intended more things for this video. Like I said, I'm just trying to get through all the things, but I could show off what I released last month. So I updated the Airway shawl, and actually it didn't require a lot of updating. It's just that it didn't have a video, and so I made the video with this carousel yarn, which I love how it feels. It's so soft and squishy and spongy, and this is like the first yarn that I have purchased in 2 years. Been a while. I haven't necessarily been doing yarn hauls because I've been saving up for my teeth. So that's been fun. But I made this. This was my gift to myself, and this is probably not on properly, but nonetheless, the pattern has been updated to include the video, and it's also available to my members who are subscribed to Hey Craftpreneur. And I also, oh my gosh, I also did an exclusive, because I haven't done an exclusive probably since July. So said exclusive is my Field of Pistachios blanket that I designed last April. And I made it for a friend that was having a baby, and she would not be back the following semester, and I just had to make her something. So this is obviously a smaller patch from the one that obviously I designed. The full blanket is like 46 inches squared, so it's a nice size. I used a couple of skeins of Pound of Love, and it made up that, the hat, and the booties that went with it. But I really love this pattern and how vintage it looks. And the thumbnails for it looked kind of nice as well. I know I posted them over on Twitter at some point. Yes, I have Twitter. I use that more so as a fun channel and just kind of rant and share patterns. So, there's that. But those are my two patterns for March. And then, like I said, I'm working on this guy right here. I can't wait to get to the neckline, because I think the next step in my instructions is actually the neckline and the collar. So that's going to be fun to complete. And it's actually optional too, the little rib part. But anyway, I'll get more into that as I get closer to finishing the actual pattern. And yeah, that's about it. I had a crochet pattern that I've been working on since probably August of 22, and it's just still in development. Crochet pattern writing is very slow and time consuming, because at least for me, I like to make sure I get stuff right the first time, and then like getting basically guesstimations on sizing math is time consuming as well, because you want to get it right pretty much the first time. Though I do often open up to my members that they can, DM me, let me know what measurements worked for them. Like if I get enough people like, hey, this actually worked better for me, then I would actually go in and change it. But I haven't gotten that so far, so I think I'm doing okay, I think. Anyway, so I know I have probably up to a 2x on this one as far as sizing goes. So I'm just enjoying the process of writing out this pattern. The way I write patterns is usually that I write it out when I'm doing my first run, because I typically know what I need to chain and do for my own size, so I do that and run with it, and it works out. And so if I actually want to develop the pattern, I'll go in, I'll do a second mock-up and be more observant with the math and whatnots and how the yarn stretches and things like that. So anyway, it's very involved. It takes lots of hours. Sometimes it takes years, which, I mean, it'd be like that. But anyway, I have like 40 patterns floating around out there, because at one point I was just churning them out, and I was releasing them on my blog, so I really didn't need to put together PDFs that frequently. But as I continue to grow, and when I was on Etsy, when I wanted to like build up my listings, I was like, let me pop all these instructions in PDFs. And then now, over the years I've been updating them, but now, like since 22, I've been making it my mission to put in videos, because a lot of people like how I do my video tutorial instruction stuff. So I've been doing that, and it's been mighty successful. I think there's 15, 16, 17 something patterns into the program now. Some of them, like I said, are exclusive, so some of them will never have PDFs, and that's fine by me. Let's see. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Wouldn't you know, at this late stage, my monitor battery has finally charged, so now I can stop doing this blind. So I remembered what it was. I actually got a good surprise in March. Not only did I get one of my biggest orders ever for my pottery, so very happy about that, I also got my first piece of Happy Mail, and I don't know how long it was sitting there, and I felt so bad when I got to my P.O. box. I have a P.O. box for obvious reasons, but I was elated because it's actually a brand that I have covered before in one of my Centro videos, and I quite like their products. So when I saw it and I read it, I'm like, I know exactly who this is and exactly who sent this. So I was very excited to see the name on on the packaging. I have no idea how long it was sitting in the P.O. box because I don't know. I feel like other people might get notified when they have packages delivered to their P.O. box, but I don't. So I don't know how long it was there, so I apologize if you're out there watching this video. I'm sorry. And then between that and the 2 weeks it's taken me to sit down and record this video, and who knows when it uploads. I am absolutely so sorry, but you deserve a shout out now. So I'm going to open this package because I haven't had time to open it either. And the other day my grandmother was like, when you going to open that package? I'm like, Grandma, chill. But anyway, so this package is actually from Crochet yarns. I have used Melissa's yarns for quite a while, for quite a few central projects. They work really well. The ones that I've sampled so far tend to work really well in the central knitting machine. And the last one I actually reviewed on the channel was the Velvet Nookie. It worked really good in the centro, and it's perfect for like fringes on cuffs and hats and stuff like that. And then I used, I can't remember the name of it, but I used that yarn for some of my scrunchies because the colors are so vibrant. So she sent me a sample package, and I'm very happy. And she always sends samples, which is why I really like her packaging. So this feels like that Velvet Nookie too. It's chenille though. Ooh. And then this one's more of a like ribbon yarn. I don't know which yarn this is. Snug. Huh. I'll have to try this. Maybe for New Year's. And then there's another one, right? And she always gives like a little coupon code. I don't want to reveal it in case she doesn't do that publicly, but she always has a little coupon code. So whenever you do order from her business, you have a coupon code and you got a bunch of yarn samples so you can feel the yarn before you buy it, which is A+. And I actually first found her back in 2020 on Etsy. I was looking for something very specific, and I feel like it was for my scrunchies. But nonetheless, I encountered her business, and then the next time, like the next couple of times I ordered from her, I went directly to her website because that's the kind of Etsy shopper I am, especially now. I'll find you, but then I'll go to your website if you have one. So, Crochet, right? Lovely yarns. And she has sent me this lovely, this yarn is it. And it's a premium acrylic, and it's in this really lovely lavender color. So I feel like I'm going to have to design something. I'm going to have to design something with this skein. Ooh, wait. There's more in here. Okay. I see holographic things, and I am automatically ecstatic. But she has sent me this Made with Love tags. They're like suede or leather. I'm going to open these. Sorry for all the plastic opening sounds. That is one thing that has not changed on this channel at all over the years. Just the lengths my camera audio goes through to pick up these sounds. But okay, these are actually suede. Okay, and these are coming in really good timing because I have run out of my leather tags. So I'll be using these up over the next couple of projects. But she has them in all kinds of colors, so you can really match them to your project specifically. I feel like you can see them better, probably if I hold them closer to my face. Yeah, I don't think my camera autofocuses anymore, but you know, she's 5 years old. Wait, she's 7 years old, so I'll give it that. But I'm very happy about these. And then, what are these? Are these like, ooh. Okay, I think these are gloves. I think these are gloves for while you're stitching. And they are. Yeah. Ooh, they're fingerless too. Cool. She sent me a small size, which I can appreciate because my hands are kind of, they're kind of tiny. I used to play the clarinet, so, but yeah, these are, and they feel nice. These are compression gloves for when you're stitching, and I might start using these while I am working on sweaters and things like that because, like I said, sometimes I stitch really fast and I regret it later. And so these are going to help out in that process a little bit, in addition to taking breaks, obviously. But while I'm in the process of making or doing swatch making and stuff, I think that these would be really cool to use. So thank you so much, Melissa, for sending me this bit of happy mail. It made my day when I got it in the mail the first time, and I am reinvigorated now that I've opened this package. I can't wait to use this. This is very soft. Like, sometimes when you get premium acrylics, they're still really rough. But I guess they work out okay. But this is actually really, really soft. And I am willing to bet any amount of money that this will actually work well in the Centro too. So I might also end up doing a video on this soon. I know I have a video or two lined up with the Centro already. So be on the lookout in a couple weeks for that one. It'll give me time to catch up on all my swatching and stitching and stuff. So again, thank you so much. And that website is Crochet.com, and I will leave that pinned in my top comment below or to the side, so whatever device you're watching, you can head to the comment section. It'll be right there. Alright, so I think that was about all. This was probably the biggest bit. I was very excited when I got this. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, I think I am going to end the channel chat here. If I think of something else, I will come back and be like, and another thing. But anyway, today, like I said, I just wanted to get a lot off my chest. I wanted to catch up. So the synopsis here: lots of school stuff, graduating soon, five alarms going off about the business. But at least I'm driving, and I got happy mail, and my grandmother is doing better most days. Like I said, I still heavily help her. She depends on me a lot more than what she was prior to her feeling bad. I think what really got her was that ice storm we had probably earlier in February or late January 1, and it really just, we had to like walk her back up to the house. So that was kind of rough on her, and then from there it's just like she's been dealing with different stuff. So anywho, but she's doing well. I appreciate all your well wishes and prayers though in her regard, especially around her birthday. That was really sweet of you guys. My final ask for this video is simply that you perhaps take the time out today, head over to my website, browse around, actually look at the stuff that I have, that I offer. Consider supporting me today in whatever capacity that you can. I would love to stick around and continue to teach the craft and be a part of the maker community, but at the same time I'm going to have the help of my community. So whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching this on Rumble, part of the clip might end up on Facebook, so wherever you're watching this, I would really appreciate your help in keeping the content going and flowing so this channel can live on as part of a crafty legacy, and I can actually make a living off of the work of these hands. Now that I got all this heavy stuff off my chest, I'm going to go continue working on my cute little sweater so that I can have content for my members, and I will see you in the next tutorial and in the next channel chat, and until then, happy making. I would like to say before I leave, this always happens, I missed a piece of paper in the happy mail, and so foresight is amazing. But I will most definitely do a video on this yarn that I just got. I have to wait to do it, like I said, for a couple weeks because I already had my episodes numbered out, but I will most definitely be covering this yarn on the machine. And she also listed a bunch of different information about the yarn and the compression gloves and the labels. So I will do something about a blog post as well to highlight this. So again, if you want to, oh wow, nice. Oh, cool. I will be doing a blog to highlight more information about her products and whatnot, so if you want to support another small business, you can. Also, I can very well give you guys a discount code, so I'm really glad that I found this piece of paper. All you have to do is use the code Infiniti10 to get 10% off your entire order. Oh, that's exciting. And I will be sure to reach out and let her know when this video goes up. I'm very excited to share that with you guys. So now, definitely happy making.